Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Mademoiselle Lina, and you can find me online at www.conjureknits.com. Today, we are here to do the Virgo TarotScope for November 2021, and we're going to be using the Fairies Oracle by Brian Froud. Before we get started, I would like to say thank you for viewing my video, and if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and click on the little bell so that you'll receive notifications of when I go live or upload new videos. I do try to stay pretty busy here on my channel. I do all 12 zodiac signs for the monthly tarot scopes. On Sundays, we have Conjure Crew with myself, Mambo Tanya, and the Black Bonnet Witch. On Mondays, I upload the weekly forecast. Every day, I do a card of the day reveal. On Wednesdays, we have the virtual book club. We are currently reading the Sword of Truth series by Terry Goodkind. It has been so much fun following Richard and Kaylin on their adventures, so you are definitely going to want to join us for that. I also pop on from time to time and do free readings, so make sure you get my notifications by clicking that little bell. Alright, I feel that I have rambled on long enough. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Card number 1. What is the challenge for this month? And we have the Ganconer. This is about illusion, delusion, lust, projection, clear sight. Have you ever noticed that when we really want someone or something, we tend to see it without clarity? The object of our lust looks flawless and glamorous, which should tell us something right away, but usually it doesn't. He says his name is Smooth Harry, but that may be a little illusion of his own. Unlike the Pook, the Ganconer doesn't change his shape to tempt us with our own mental confusions and paradoxes. He simply wears a mirror in which we see our desires temptingly displayed. He doesn't try to fool us. He simply allows us to fool ourselves. Well, he may try just a little, just to make the test a little more difficult. After all, we can be more proud of passing a difficult test than an easy one, can't we? Smooth Harry also appeals to our vanity, and the more we have of it, the easier his work is. A little flattery, and we'll believe whatever he wants us to swallow, especially since it is just what we want to swallow anyway. Of all the fairy challengers, Smooth Harry is the most likely to be sly. He practices a sort of emotional judo, where he lets our own desires lead us into a fall. As we rush headlong toward our vision of perfection, he need only step to one side as we cast ourselves at him, and down we go. Not fun, but maybe, perhaps, we might just learn something from it. It is not good to make decisions when blinded by lust. Whether it is lust for a person, a thing, or an idea, we need to pause and take our time before making actual commitments. We need to read the fine print, check out the foundations, get a mechanic to test the so beautiful second-hand car. If we are considering buying something, we can refuse to let ourselves be rushed into it and take time to make sure it is really what we think it is. If we are considering making a commitment to other people, we need to take our time and really get to know them much better. This is another lesson in seeing the truth behind a be-glamored surface, though in this case it is we who have cast the glamour. Card number 2. What positive energies can I embrace this month? And we have Titan the Sylph. This is about acute intellect, quickness, mental synthesis, discernment. Titan glitters and glimmers brightly. She scatters a special fairy dust that energizes the mind. However, energy is not everything, and the fairy dust that actually makes minds brighter as well as more energized is more rare, and she distributes it much less often. She is full of curiosity and wants to go everywhere, see everything, and have every question answered. Like the 2-year-old asking, "Why? Why? Why?" She wants to know all, even the things that by their very nature cannot be known to the conscious mind. Tayton reminds us that ideas cannot be confined. They are wild and free. They move fast. Some ideas are more contagious than the flu, and they move quickly from head to head, sometimes illuminating and sometimes burning out with a flicker and a flash and a faint whiff of ash. Brian wrote, "The sylph is a fragment of the earth's soul in fairy form. In the fairy realms, light comes not from above, but from within. Like other fairies, sylphs light up the world around them, energizing all who come into contact with them with their quick fairy radiance. We humans also light up the world around us with our own auras. It is a pity that so few of us have learned the mental disciplines to be able to perceive that light. However, Tayton is not the one to consult about that. Try Last or the Dark Lady for that. What Tayton bestows is more ephemeral, but nevertheless of value. She is an awakener, one who startles us into seeing and thinking in new and exciting ways. She loves to sit in on teenage and college-age discussions about the profound questions of life. She is full of bright ideas and willing to discuss them at length. She is not too bothered about whether the discussions make much sense or not. Ideas with wings are her joy, and mental stimulation is her game. Tayton has inertialess flight. Like thought, she is not bound by the rules of mass and momentum. Therefore, she can radically change direction without notice, more quickly than a hummingbird. What we see here is mental quickness, adaptability, and enthusiasm. Ideas and opinions abound. A few are brilliant, but others vary from mediocre to downright silly. Be selective. Mental and psychic abilities may be awakening. Independent thinking is in operation. New ideas and new versions of old ideas are creating an exciting, effervescent atmosphere. Avoid excess and extremes. Minds may change often as new ideas and new ways of seeing bubble to the surface. Out of conflict and confusion, resolved by goodwill and clear thinking, a new and better understanding may come. Card number 3. What negative energies do I need to negotiate this month? And we have the fairy who was kissed by the pixies. Pixie kisses are not chocolate like the well-known Hershey's Kisses, but the pixies claim that they are a whole lot sweeter and don't do anything dreadful to your teeth. However, if the pixies have been munching fairy chocolate, some pixie kisses give people freckles. As Brian wrote, the pixies say that there cannot be too much kissing. A fairy kiss is a blessing indeed. Pay attention when you feel a fairy touch on your cheek or lips. Pixie kisses, in fact, all fairy kisses, are to be noticed and savored. If you do notice, you will find yourself smiling without meaning to, and feel a surge of warmth swell in your heart. This fairy, Morna, is the queen of love, all kinds of love. Brotherly, sisterly, parental, friendly, unconditional or conditional, either or both. She tells us, it takes perfect people to have a perfect love. But we, imperfect as we all are, may have many loves, each one perfect for who we are and for what we need now. These loves may not feel perfect. They may not look perfect from the outside, but they fit us now. If we don't like them, she shrugs, then we need to change ourselves so that a different kind of perfection fits us. Here we see Morna in her role as heart surgeon, using the power of love to help us open our hearts when we have closed them out of fear, helping us to expand and become more of what we have the potential to be. Yes, it is true, having an open heart, being willing to love and be loved, makes us vulnerable to loss and grief. But Morna assures me, and I believe her, that once a heart is truly and fully open, even the deepest grief becomes bittersweet like dark chocolate, and there is no pain that is not balanced by the greater joy of love. The feeling of giving love is what makes us feel good. What keeps us from enjoying it fully is our desires to own others and to have them constantly prove our importance to them. Such proof is impossible. However, this kind of conditional and self-limited love is part of how we learn about real love. If you ever hear yourself asking, "Do you really love me?" or saying, "I don't think you really love me," then you know that the love you are giving to the other is conditional and limited. Morna would like to help us learn to love others without conditions, and she also would like us to learn to love while still staying properly centered within ourselves. It is important for us not to lose ourselves in others and let their desires become ours while losing sight of what we need for fulfillment in our own lives. In the long run, or even in the not so very long run, that never works out. We only think we know what others want and need, and sooner or later we get it disastrously wrong, usually by thinking we know what they ought to need. We are all learning about love, and in the process of learning, we all act as teachers for each other. Ram Dass said, "The karma of relationships is the hardest karma there is." Believe it, Morna advises. And this is true, no matter what the relationship is. But for all that, love in its purest sense is the fast track to self-realization and enlightenment. The wild thing at the top of the picture is filled with bliss and is longing to cuddle its way to enlightenment. Remember, everything and everyone in fairy glows with its own light. So do we. Much of that light is the glow of love. Remembering that is so important. Opening our hearts more widely to the giving and receiving of love evokes the well-kissed fairy within. Oh wow, what can I say here? Love, sweet love. Accept it, burnish it up, add to it, and pass it on. The presence of the fairy who was kissed by the pyxes suggests giving and receiving love and intimacy in any of a wide variety of relationships. She gives notice that this is a time to open and heal our hearts. Different aspects of life may well be flowing happily together, healing separations and hurts from the past. Bonding may take place and deep feelings emerge. Changes for the better may occur in all aspects of life, but especially in relationships, which may be deepening and becoming richer. You may be experiencing love therapy for opening the heart as new relationships begin and old ones develop. Enjoy. Card number 4. What do I need to make time for this month? And we have Geohabia. He refuses to tell me what the G in his name stands for because, he says, the more we know about him, the less power he has and the harder it is to do his job. This tells you a lot about him. His powers lie in our imaginations and fears, not in the real world, not in any of the real worlds. This is the wicked thing in the closet who keeps frightened children awake at night with eerie snuffling, shuffling sounds. But when you turn on the light and open the door, he isn't there. Brian wrote, "He exists only through the collection of our fears." The hobby thrives on fears, getting stronger and stronger until we face him. He is a sham, a tiny fear blown all out of proportion, and the smallest positive thought will banish him. All of fairyland knows this, and none is afraid of him. Geohabia's job is to wave our imaginary fears in front of us, making them look as alive and real as he can. He's pretty good at this. The challenge he offers us is to see that certain fears of ours are imaginary and to distinguish them from things we actually need to be cautious about. In this way, he tries to teach us to look past the fear and see real true let truth, whatever that truth is. It is a difficult job, and Geohabia, the book, Gotcha, the feline, and a few other hardworking fairies get together twice a week for otherworld nectar, hazelnuts, cheese, and applesauce, and to grumble about humans and to support each other. The work they do, hard as it is merely an apprenticeship for the much harder work for which they get to wear a starry crown, like Epona's wild daughter and Lies of the Shadows. It takes a lot of practice and skill in dealing with human flaws to get promoted to that level. If you could hear the stories they tell. It is time to look for the truth behind our fears, to distinguish between what is real and what is just our projection of old traumas and fears into our imaginary future. By delving into our old patterns, we can see past them to a more liberating life. Only by facing these fears honestly and seeing them for what they are do we gain greater ability to open our hearts to the singer of courage and gain strength to face really difficult challenges in our lives. Each false fear confronted and resolved makes us much stronger. Card number 5. What opportunity should I seize this month? And we have honesty. This is about honesty, compassion, tact, self-deceit. Just look at him. Could you doubt for a moment that he sees you just as you are and loves you anyway? In plant form, which is how we may see him most often, honesty makes lovely purple flowers in the spring and later on produces those silvery white circular seed pods, like small images of the full moon. These little earth moon seed pods remind us to reflect upon our reactions and feelings, to throw light into our darknesses, and to deal honestly with ourselves and others. Honesty's other botanical names are moonwort, satin flower, silver dollar, moneywort, dollar plant, penny flower, balbinac, and, on Monday, the moon's day, he is Lunaria annua. Honesty is said to repel monsters. I don't have any monsters handy to check this out on, but I can certainly see the metaphorical truth in it. He is also known as Unshoe the Horse because of his habit of unshoeing horses who tread upon him. A very fairy thing to do, and who can blame him? He is said to have collected 30 horseshoes from the horses of the Earl of Essex on the White Downs in Devonshire near Tiverton. Let that be a lesson to you not to tread honesty underfoot. Honesty in a reading speaks, unsurprisingly, of the need for straight dealing and truth in representation. We need to be scrupulously honest here, making certain that there is no room for confusion or misunderstanding, no fuzzy edges. Both written and verbal agreements need to be completely clear. Assumptions may not be as well understood by all parties as we are assuming, and they need to be tested for comprehension. On a personal level, honesty reminds us not only to be clear in what we say and do, but also to act and speak with compassion and tact. Brutal honesty is not usually true honesty at all, but somehow slanted toward the worst. Dishonesty, even in the name of tact, is not helpful either. Balancing on that fine line of loving honesty may take some effort, but will provide rich rewards. Honest humility, idealism, and clarity of mind are some of the advantages of honesty. All right, my lovelies. Let's take a look at the bigger picture here. Card number 1. What is the challenge for this month? And we have the Ganconer. Damn these rose-colored glasses. This is truly a challenge for us all of the time. However, this month it is especially hard. The heart wants what the heart wants, right? When we want someone or something, we tend to see only the best in them or only what we want to see. We glamorize them. Seeing the best is a positive thing, but not when it overshadows the truth. You wouldn't buy a house just because it looks pretty on the outside, would you? No, it could have all kinds of broken pipes and faulty electrical. Hell, it could be completely gutted on the inside. Really take the time this month to get to know the person or thing that you have been glamorizing. Talk to them, spend time with them. If it is a thing, really do your research. After you have all of the facts, make an informed decision. Then, if this is still what you really want, great. If not, then it's time to move on. Card number 2. What positive energies can I embrace this month? And we have Tatan the Sylph. You have such a beautiful inner child whose light shines so brightly. This is such a wonderful thing. Explore the world. Ask questions. Look at things through the eyes of a child. The world is full of glorious wonder. Don't let anyone steal your joy or break your spirit. Going back to card number 1, ask those questions. Why? 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 Get to know everyone and everything. Relationships and ideas may last a lifetime, or they may simply be a passing thought. Let Tatan's special fairy dust give you the clarity of mind so that you can determine which is which. Card number 3. What negative energies do I need to negotiate this month? And we have the fairy who was kissed by the pyxes. When we block love, obviously we refuse to give or receive it. An interesting thing here is that love is an energy, an aspect of the life force, and it flows through us whether we admit it or not. The unhappy souls who refuse to acknowledge it still have it within them, ignored, denied. Another way we block love is to become the kind of people pleaser who wants to do everything for others, but won't let them give in return. The twisted energy of love shows up as jealousy, possessiveness, attention-seeking, and demanding behavior. It is focused on getting rather than giving and results in unhappiness rather than happiness. It is also based on the entirely false idea that there is not enough love in the world for everyone to have as much as they need. Another twist is believing that it is up to others to make us happy when really this is our own responsibility. One of the worst things we can do is to deny love, to pretend we feel it when we don't, and to pretend we don't when we do. Another is to try to destroy love between others by any means for any reason whatsoever. And the worst of all is taking advantage of the love of others to betray them. Card number 4. What do I need to make time for this month? And we have Geomancy. Take the time this month to face your fears. Take off the blinders and use Tatan's fairy dust to gain clarity about the situation. Are you afraid to let yourself be loved? Are you afraid of letting people get close to you? Why? Do shadow work or see a therapist if you need help in figuring out what is the root of these false fears. Face them head on. Don't let your fears paralyze you. Take back your control without losing out on the wondrous things in life. Check things out carefully. Sometimes our fears are justified. It is important for us to learn to distinguish between the imaginary and the real. Card number 5. What opportunity should I seize this month? And we have honesty. Not only should we be upfront and honest with others, but we should be honest with ourselves. Honesty can be brutal, so be sure to deliver the truth with compassion and understanding. There is no need to downgrade yourself or others. That isn't very nice. I really feel like it is most important this month to be honest with yourself. See things and people for who and what they really are. This is going to be such an exciting month for you. A month of growth and adventure, amazement and wonder. Sure, we do have some work to do, but it is so worth it. I hope that this reading has helped you and will help lead you and guide you throughout the month of November. If you do feel that it has helped you and that it will help someone else, please feel free to share this video. Sharing is caring. And if you would like a more in-depth and personal reading, you can go to my website at www.conjureknits.com and click on the link at the top of the page that says Book a Reading. I hope you all have a very beautiful and amazing month. Love you bunches. Shalom.